David Stone is a registered representative on Lincoln Financial Advisors Corp., a broker-dealer member SIPC, and a registered investment advisor. Stone Consulting Group is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisors.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Mike Gray Real Estate Hour, heard every weekend on AM 1380. I'm Mike Gray from Morris Williams Realty. My co-host this segment is David Stone from the Stone Consulting Group. So good to have you as a co-host this week, David.
Oh, you bet, Mike. Great to be with you, and hello, everybody.
Yep. And a lot of my clients are investor clients who use real estate as part of their financial planning of their portfolio for their financial net worth. And one of my clients I brought in with you, and I was so impressed how she has several rentals.
Yeah.
And she was exploring different ways to exchange those in to kind of consolidate so
Sure.
she didn't have so many different properties to manage. And we sat down with you and all the different ideas that you had and the different pros and cons and the information that you shared, helping her trying to figure out her retirement plan. Very impressive how you handled that, David.
Well, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I pride myself in doing this for over 25 years, trying to create creative ideas for people to help them understand what their future looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And in Chapter 6 of my book, I talk about retirement planning, and really it all kind of weaves together. There's also, as you know, a section in the book on real estate.
Right.
And kind of gets into how do you deal with that in your overall financial plan.
So the book you're talking about is a book called The Power of a Plan.
Yeah, The Power of a Plan. That's right.
And I've read it. It's an excellent book. And oftentimes when I read some of those financial books from financial gurus, I use it to put me to sleep at night. But your
Paper
book was
chloroform.
Yeah, but your book was different, very easy to understand and kind of explain. Just talk about just retirement in general first. Some of the things that our listeners should be aware of.
Well, one of the things when people are starting to think about retirement, you kind of need to visualize, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of visualize your life at that time. So 65 seems to be like the date that most people think, oh, I'm going to retire when I'm 65.
Okay.
So let's just use that as an example.
Okay.
So I would say, Mike, well, when you get to 65 and you actually stop working and you're financially independent, tell me about your day.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be that what's your desire? Well, I wanna serve with a local charity, or you know what, I might still kind of do something on the side, or you know what, I'm gonna play golf every day, 7 days a week. So it just depends on what people's desires are.
I'm going to buy a motorhome and travel the country for a year.
Sure. I'm going to be a full timer and cruise around the United States. There's a lot of different things. I'm going to travel, do all these things. So as people start to understand what their life might look like, most people aren't going to just sit on the rocking chair on the front porch and just watch people walk by like they do in the movies in the 1950s. But really, people are going to have a better idea of, okay, well, I think I'm still going to be living in my current house. And so you basically want to take the time, once you understand what you think your day is going to be like or what your life is going to be like, and kind of dream a little bit. But you start thinking about, well, what kind of income needs do I have? And so we break those into different types of expenses. So firstly, we'd break them into your core expenses.
All right.
The core expenses are like your food, your clothing, your housing, your transportation, insurance, even unfortunately taxes.
And medical.
Medical,
Okay.
absolutely. Medical expenses. So you have those as your core expenses. And then on top of that, you have what we call your joy expenses. So your joy expenses are things like travel, like that RV driving around for a year.
Well,
right?
now the RV is housing, okay?
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a talk about joy here.
Right.
Actually, let me quickly tell you a story. I was meeting with one of my clients a few years back, and she was a certified financial planner who was a client, hired me to help them with their planning. And we were going through this joy and core discussion, and all the different things that I would think would be core, what should be core, and I said, well, this is a joy expense, right? And she goes, oh no, that's core. So, well, I got to have my Mercedes, or I got to have the newest iPhone. So just kind of go through that and say, well, transportation, yeah, but do you really need $100,000 Mercedes? Come on.
Yes.
So, but your joy expenses are your travel, your hobbies, your entertainment, gifts,
cruises,
things like that. So as you identify what your core expenses are and what your joy expenses are, and then there's of course the leftover. It's what your heirs get. And your leftovers may go to your heirs, or you may go to charity, whatever it is you want. So when we're doing that with a client, we're trying to identify what are your core expenses? What are those things that you really need to have every single month? And let's just say that's $5,000. Well, then you say, well, how am I going to fund that? And that's a big question. Part of that can come from real estate.
Yes.
And real estate as an investment, if you have a commercial real estate deal, and that commercial real estate deal is a long-term lease that's guaranteed by a Class A, very high-quality company, very financially stable company, then I might consider that to be there to provide you with the cash flow that would be for your basic core expenses.
Okay.
However, if that's a single-family home and we've got a tenant in there that's got a 1-year lease, then we might say, okay, this is the income from this property or this asset probably fits better in the joy category, because sometimes tenants decide to leave. And so you might have that as part of your joy. Those expenses, Mike, are extremely important.
Okay.
But we might split it, because a most common thing we use for core would be your Social Security.
Okay.
Or a corporate pension if somebody has a pension, state pension, or whatever. So when we're breaking in those assets, that's really what you're looking at. And people find it interesting. So, well, what else would you use to pay your joy expenses? Would be maybe your other investments, things that you're coming out. They're not consistent, perhaps. Maybe you say, well, my IRA goes up and down, or my other investments go up and down. So core expenses are the things that are going to provide you with some consistent cash flow. Even some guarantees on annuity contracts will give you some core expenses.
And so this is why it's so important. And I remember when I met with this client and you were helping her, kind of walking through some of her options, explaining all these things and having her dialogue with you, because I'm sure it's different with every client.
It is.
Some core expenses for this client are really joy expenses for another client.
Exactly.
And also helping them understand, well, this expense, like you just shared, if you have a single family home, even though that income may be consistent, there might be times when it's not consistent, and we have to be prepared for that.
Absolutely.
And so, again, how you explain that and how you help analyze the risks, and so a person can just enjoy their retirement. My definition of retirement is you get to wake up and do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, working for a charity, just taking it easy that day, traveling.
Right.
Another career.
Have you been talking to my dad?
No, I have not.
Because my dad said that to me years ago. He goes, my definition of retirement is just getting up, doing whatever I want to do, and not worrying about the financial ramifications of it. If I'm financially independent, I can do what I want to do. Here he is, 89 years old. He's still actually going to the office. I spent time with him today, in fact. It was quite entertaining.
Oh, good. Well, I also want to talk again about the book that you have called The Power of a Plan. Again, it's one of the easier and easily understood type of a financial planning book that I have read, and I've read quite a few, and you have an offer for our listeners.
Well, you can get it on Amazon, you can buy it at Barnes and Noble, other places, but for your listeners, I'm gonna say the first 3 callers.
Okay.
The first 3 callers that contact you. I'll sign a copy and we'll mail it out to them, and then hopefully you can take a chance and read it and find ways for them to experience and appreciate the power of a plan.
So a free copy to any of the listeners who call in. That number is 530-431-8586. 530-431-8586. Be one of the first 3 callers who happen to call in, and you'll send them a free book.
We will, and hopefully they'll have a lot of fun reading it. And they can also go to thepowerofaplan.com if they want to get more information about the book before they call.
Now, how long has the book been out, David?
It's been out since October of 2016.
How long did it take you to write it?
About a year.
A year?
Yeah.
That's very, very good. I am a published author, but on a whole different related field, and I don't think I got any of the books that I have had published done in a year. So that's pretty amazing work.
It was. I made a sacrifice to do it, and it came out.
Okay. Well, good. So if you'd like to get a copy of David's book, give us a call, 530-431-8586. Again, 530-431-8586. First 3 callers get a free copy. So please call in, and we'll be back right after this break.